We're three guys on a bench, and we talk about Spanish. And we have something new today. Yeah, this is a story. It's from Spanish grammar. It's kind of old, but the Spanish is still good, pretty much. May not be fresh, but it's still it's Spanish. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of read it and translate it as we go. And basically, this is how we learned, at least to read. It's a good way to build your vocabulary and see some Spanish in action. And we started with the grammars, and then we progressed to novels and magazine articles and stuff like that. And I don't know, have fun with it. So here we go. Let's just pop to it. Okay. Voy a la escuela. Voy a la escuela el lunes, el martes, el miércoles, el jueves, y el viernes. Yeah, so what's that mean? What did you just say? Okay. Voy is I go. I go to the school. I go to the school. And then what it actually says is, the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, and the Friday. And that's saying what days you go to school, with the. You could also say los lunes, los martes, los miércoles, saying the Mondays, the Tuesdays. But that's how you do it. Yeah. Notice the days of the week, they're not capitalized. It's they're operating under a completely different set of rules. So heads up there. Yep. El sábado y el domingo no voy a la escuela. El sábado y el domingo estoy en casa. And that's the Saturday and the Sunday, I don't go to the school. The Saturday and the Sunday, I am in-house. Yeah, and, in-house, in casa, is just a phrase that means, at home. We might say, I stay at home. Yeah, but it doesn't say I stay at home. It says I am in-house. Yeah, okay. Soy un discípulo y estoy en la escuela. Yep, what you got there? I am a student, and I am in the school. I'm at school. That's right. Okay. Notice discípulo looks like our English word disciple, which is basically a student, or discipline, which is what disciples and students have, one would hope. Okay. El discípulo aprende. Aprendo la aritmética, a leer y a escribir. Usted aprende el español. That's the disciple, the student, he learns. The student learns. Or maybe even students learn, although it doesn't use the plural. But it's saying what students do, right? And then I learn. Notice that aprende is he learns, but aprendo is I learn. I learn math, that's arithmetic, to read and to write. And the ahs in front of the verbs is basically saying we would say to read and to write. And they each get their own to. They each get their own ah. And then VD, that's short for usted. And that's the formal way of saying you. It's more polite than calling somebody tu. In most countries, you use tu for family and close friends, and then you use usted for everybody else. So it's saying you, usted, is learning Spanish. That's what you're learning. But I'm not learning it because I already know it. I mean the guy that, wrote this, the narrator. Okay. Todos nosotros aprendemos diligentemente. That's all of us learn diligently. Words that end in mente are adverbs, and they're how you do something, quickly and slowly and happily and diligently. They're li words in English usually, and they don't modify a noun, they modify a verb. So there you go. There's your grammar corner. And there's probably lots of grammar corners in this room, because that's how rooms are. They got lots of corners. Okay. Algunos discípulos no son diligentes. Algunos son perezosos. Yeah. Notice when he the Z, he doesn't go z, in most countries it's kind of a s. Prices may vary. Check your local listings. So what'd you say? It is some students aren't diligent. Some of them are lazy. Yep. I always wondered if the name Perez had anything to do with being lazy. I haven't found out yet. I'll get back to you on that one. El maestro elogia a los discípulos diligentes y a los discípulos obedientes. And that's like, that has a lot of the... You ever notice, like, the longer the word is, the more it looks like it's English word? The teacher, the master, he praises, and that kind of looks like an elegy, which is a sort of praise, The teacher praises the diligent students and the obedient students. So I bet you could have figured that one out. Maybe, if you realize, like an elegy. Eulogy and elegy are both praise, but they're different. Okay. Wow. All right. Él no elogia a los alumnos perezosos. El maestro enseña. Mi maestro enseña el español. So, like, él no elogia is like he doesn't praise, and then that's called a personal and like you have to put that in front of people. Like whenever you're doing something to a person, you got to put a But if you're doing it to a table, then you don't put a Like there's more rules than that, but that's basically it. He does not praise the lazy students. El maestro enseña. The master teaches. The teacher teaches. I like the word enseñar is like to teach. It means like to put into signs. Because like that's how you teach. You put it into signs. My teacher, he teaches Spanish. Haha, but I thought you said you didn't take Spanish. Haha, we've caught you out. Okay. Yeah. Este maestro enseña las matemáticas y aquel maestro el inglés. This got the word like este, it means like this. So it's like this teacher, he teaches the math, and that teacher, he teaches the English. It doesn't say he teaches, but it's like, and that teacher, English. Like, put those words into the structure established above. Yeah. Okay. El señor Blanco enseña la biología y la química. And that's like Mr. White. I guess that's the guy's name. Maybe like Reservoir Dog teacher here. Mr. White teaches biology and chemistry. And notice they both have the in front of them. That's how they roll. La señorita Herrera enseña la geografía y la historia. And I don't know what her name is, like Mrs. Horseshoer or something. Mrs. Horseshoer, she teaches geography and history. Okay. Mrs. Horseshoer. Yeah, stick with it. ¿Qué aprende usted en la escuela? That's like, what do you learn in school? And then it goes on to say, go ahead. Aprendo el español, el francés, el álgebra, la biología y la estenografía. I can't even say that in English. Stenography. So you said, what do you learn in school? And I say, I learn Spanish, French, algebra, biology, and apparently shorthand. I looked it up. A more modern Spanish word would be taquigrafía, which means the same thing, shorthand. Because this is like an old school. Yeah, okay. So there's your reading. You can try it again with the sound off, and or you could go to SpanishDrill.com and try an interactive vocabulary quiz using the words from this reading with important grammar notes. Shill. Yeah, pays the bills. Okay. Alright, everybody. Have fun. And keep learning Spanish.